Welcome to another episode of Software Explorations, Concepts and Overviews. Welcome to another episode of Software Explorations, Concepts and Overviews, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. In today's episode, we are going to continue comparing Selenium. In today's episode, we're going to continue comparing Selenium, Playwright, and Cypress.io to see which is the right automation tool we should be learning in 2024. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right back into it. We are at part 3 today of our presentation series on which is the best one for 2024. All right, let's jump into it. All right, so when we last left off, we were talking about parallel execution. So it says parallel execution is crucial. It's a crucial feature for automating web browsers as it allows running multiple test cases simultaneously, thus reducing the overall execution time. When it comes to parallel execution, Playwright, Selenium, and Cypress are all popular choices amongst developers. In this comparison, we will take a look at how each of these tools handle parallel execution, what kind of parallel execution options they offer, and how easy it is to implement parallel execution with these tools. All right. So let's take a look at Playwright. When it comes to comparing Playwright versus Selenium versus Cypress, Playwright supports parallel execution across multiple machines. Let's take an example to run test cases in parallel. Below is a code snippet where we are opening one e-commerce website, then clicking on the homepage, blog link, and verifying the user is redirected to the correct URL. All right. So this is being written in TypeScript, which if you didn't already, tune into the live stream where we are using TypeScript to automate the website or the application from Calculus Coder called Free Mind Recovery. And we're doing it in TypeScript. And we're doing it in Selenium. We're doing it in Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright. So try them all out, okay? So this one says it's going to go to the e-commerce playground at lambdatest.io. Look for the text for homepage and click on that. And then expect the page to have this URL. All right, so running the script with one worker in Playwright. In the below screenshot, we can see we have 2 test cases that are running in one worker. Here we can see when we are running test cases in a single worker, it took 16 seconds. All right, so 2 tests, 1 worker, 16 seconds to pass, right? By default, test cases are run in a single worker, but if we have to run the test cases in parallel on different machines, we have to provide the number of workers either through the command line by updating the config file, passing npx playwright test -- workers to 4, where 4 is the number of workers on which we want to execute our test cases. Another way to run test cases in parallel is by bypassing the worker in playwright.config.js, setting to update the worker. To update the number of workers, we have to update playwright.config.js. In the below screenshot, you can see I have updated the worker to 2 in the line number 33. So that is right here. So workers process.inv.ci to 2. All right. And that's how you do the worker. And we will try this out on the live stream as well, because we'll add after we have the registration test, we'll also add the login test, and we'll run them in parallel in all 3 applications or all 3 tools to see how they work out for us. Okay. So running the script with 2 workers in Playwright. In the below screenshot, we can see both test cases are executed parallelly, or I don't know if parallelly is a word, but they're executed in parallel. We'll go with that. Okay, so lambda test back. Okay, when we run the same script with 2 workers, it takes 13 seconds. If it took 16 seconds with 1 worker, I thought it would go a little bit faster, but maybe one test is longer than the other. I don't know. Lambda test allows you to perform parallel testing with Playwright across 50 browsers and OS and operating system to automate your several test cases simultaneously. You can run one test across various browsers or multiple test cases in the same browser with different versions. All right. So, and that comes to like a testing matrix. It's going to be defined by your requirements, your company, to see like what browser we need to test in, what mobile devices we need to test in, and Lambda test can support that as well as a variety of other providers. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's talk about Selenium now, right? Parallel execution means executing the test case on different modules in parallel instead of running them in series. In Selenium, you can do a parallel execution using testng. Below is the structure for defining the attribute in the testng XML file to run the test cases in parallel. Right, so if you're using Java, you can use testng, and this is how you would do it. In parallel, I've done this before. Actually, like put together a framework that could effectively handle like running in parallel without the driver going crazy. I might make that a repository. I might make that available for people to use. I don't know. I would have to find some time to work on that. In the above example, in place of method, we can pass the below values. So the below pointer mentioned here is specific to Java. It might vary from other supported Selenium languages or Selenium supported languages. So methods, all methods with the test annotation will run in parallel. Instances helps execute all methods in the same instances in the same thread. Test, all test cases inside the tag of the testing XML file will run in parallel, and classes, all the classes inside the Java class will run in parallel. Thread count, no number of threads you want to run in parallel. So in the above code snippet, attribute thread count helps in defining the number of threads we want to execute the test cases in parallel. So here it's going to run. So let's say you have methods here, right? So the methods that have the test annotation, it's going to run 3 tests at a time. So if you have 9, it'll be running 3 concurrently. So one is done, it starts the next one, and then the one is done, it starts the next one. And then you can I've ran this on AWS in the past, and I scaled it up to run like 40 at a time. And if you have the right size instance, it's gonna do pretty good, all right? Okay. So let's take an example. Let's take an example of how thread works. Suppose we have 3 threads and two threads to run in the same test case in parallel. So initially 2 threads will run with 2 available threads. Once any thread between 2 freezes, the third method in the queue starts executing. Right? Let's take an example to run the test cases in parallel. So I'm not gonna open that. Verify the title. Okay, so 3 test classes: Chrome parallel, Firefox parallel test, and Safari parallel test. Oh, so many typos. To run the test in 3 browsers. All right. Below. All right. So this is Chrome parallel. I wouldn't do this like this, but it's okay. I'm not a fan of this code whatsoever, but it is what it is. To run the test in parallel, let's create a testng file. All right. So you're going to run this test. So doing this test and then run this, everything in between the test brackets, and it's saying do 2 at a time. So it's going to start off, it's going to do the Chrome test and the Firefox test. And then once one of these are done, then it's going to start on the Safari parallel test. So in the screenshot above, we can see that we have given the thread count 2. So the first 2 test cases are run in 2 threads. Once the threads are free, the next test case starts executing, like I just mentioned, right? Let's execute the test cases. We have to right click on testng.xml and then run as. And are they using Eclipse? Oh yeah, they're definitely using Eclipse. Oh goodness. All right, you can see in the screenshot below that Firefox tests and Chrome tests are running concurrently on threads 15 and 16 respectively, and seen in the console logs. Later, Safari tests would be executed on thread 15 because it was released before 16. All right. Now let's move on to Cypress. Cypress supports parallel execution across multiple machines from version 3.1. By default, the Cypress run command executes the test cases serially. In Cypress, we can execute test cases in parallel, which saves your team time and good ROI when running tests and continuous integration. When When running tests in continuous integration CI tests. To run Cypress tests locally, we can use the command npx cypress run record key and then some series of keys, right? Record keys allows you to record test results, screenshots, and videos in Cypress. Let's run the Cypress test case in Cypress Cloud for the site. All right. And so it looks like they support running in Cypress Cloud. Let's see. When we run the above test case with that command, test case start running in Cypress Cloud. All right. In the below screenshot, we can see the test case being run in one machine. To run test cases in parallel, so run Cypress test cases in parallel, we must connect the Cypress Cloud with the CI/CD. There are numerous CI/CD solutions to support Cypress, and they are simple to connect with Cypress Cloud. To run tests with GitHub Actions, you can refer to the blog on Run Cypress Tests with GitHub Actions, okay? Cloud-based cross-browser testing solutions like Lambda tests allow you to test your web application or website across a wide range of desktop and mobile browsers, like we mentioned. One of the features of Lambda tests is the ability to perform parallel testing, which allows you to run multiple tests simultaneously, significantly reducing the time it takes to completing your testing. When using Lambda tests in Cypress together, you can use the Lambda test platform to run your Cypress tests across a wide range of browsers and devices in parallel, reducing the time it takes to complete your testing. You can read so there's a link that you can read there. All right, in the next section of the blog, Playwright versus Selenium versus Cypress, we will learn about how to handle flakiness in test automation, frameworks like Playwright, Selenium, and Cypress. All right. All right, and there you have it. So today we are going to be focused on parallel execution. We just read through how parallel execution works in Playwright, Selenium, and Cypress, and we will definitely be implementing it on the live stream so we can try it out once we get our second test created. Our second or third test created. However, I think 3 is a good number. We will work on running them in parallel in all three tools. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it in Cypress because it's possible that you might need a cloud account for Cypress to be able to run that in parallel. But we will find out. So we'll try it out, see what happens, and we'll go from there. But I know I'm also gonna have to figure out how to run it in parallel in TypeScript as well. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure it out, and we'll go from there. So if you found this informative, helpful, all that good stuff, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live. And release new content. Like the video, share the video. Check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev, where you can level up your technical skills with me, and you can sign up for one-on-one coaching as well. So that being said, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you found this informative and helpful. We will be back next week where we can talk about flakiness in our test and which tool best handles flakiness. All right. So tune in next week for another episode of Software Explorations. But on that note, thank you for tuning in. This is Tech Coach Ralph signing off.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.